What would drive a species without boats, without fire, without even language to cross the ocean? How do you travel to another world when the world itself tries to kill you? This isn't a story of explorers. It's a story of hunger, of storms, of drifting bodies clinging to floating death. Welcome to life 7.1 million years ago. The sky cracks open with thunder, and the sea churns like a living thing. On the craggy edge of a shrinking forest, a clan gathers beneath a canopy of dying trees. Salt air bites their skin. Rain lashes their backs. Behind them, the earth itself is betraying them. Mudslides, swallowing roots, fruit trees stripped bare by a season that will not end. The matriarch's knuckles are white on the branch she grips. Her eyes scan the horizon, not for prey, but for something impossible salvation. A tremor passes through the ground, distant yet deep, like the breath of something ancient and angry. The youngest among them cling to their mothers, their eyes wide with questions they do not know how to ask. The eldest male kneels beside a broken stump, his hands caked in wet soil, pulling at roots too bitter to eat. When survival becomes memory, instinct must invent a future. They do not build boats. They do not carve sails. What they find is driftwood, massive trunks torn loose by the flood bobbing at the edge of the tide. One trunk cradles a nest of vines and leaves natural rafts shaped by chaos. The matriarch approaches it slowly. She places her hand upon the bark. It is soft from rot, but it floats. They test it gently, hesitantly. A young male climbs on his balance unsteady. The waves rock the wood, but it holds. It floats again. The tribe murmurs not in speech but in breath, in the tilt of heads, in the stillness of bodies that feel a question emerging from the bones. That night, the tide rises higher than ever before. Salt water floods the lower caves. The clan sleeps in shifts perched on higher ground, but there is no rest. Predators howl inland territories shifting as floodwaters drive beasts from their dens. A leopard screams in the darkness, its voice too close. The elders know if they stay, they starve. If they move inland, they bleed. The sea, for all its cruelty, is the only unknown left. At dawn, the matriarch makes a choice no one can question, because questions do not exist. Only movement, only the flick of her wrist, only the way she steps onto the floating trunk, steady and certain. The young follow one by one, arms wrapped around siblings, mothers with children pressed against their chests. A few remain eyes haunted, feet frozen. Not all will leave. Not all will survive. The tide takes the raft. There is no paddle, no anchor, only wind and water, and the terrifying silence of open sea. Behind them the land collapses. Ahead, nothing. Nothing but horizon. Nothing but fate. Waves rise like beasts, foam claws at the edges of the driftwood raft, hissing through cracks, and saturating the bundles of leaves packed beneath their feet. The sea has no mercy, no pause, no memory of who dares to ride it. Yet the raft floats. Not by design, by chance. By the same blind physics that allows dead trees to become wings across the abyss. Days blur. There is no sun, only a gray haze that grows colder, then hotter, then still. Hunger becomes a ghost that haunts them in silence. One child curls against the matriarch's side lips, blistered with thirst. She touches his forehead, brushes back his matted hair. Her hand lingers there a second longer, as if willing warmth into a body she cannot feed. In the distance, a shadow breaks the surface, a fin, or a ridge, or nothing at all. The raft tilts. A young male shifts too quickly and tumbles into the sea. He thrashes. For a breathless moment, time stretches. Then another leaps his brother, plunging in after him. Salt water swallows both. The matriarch grips a vine and braces her feet as others shout, not with words but with bodies, lurching toward the edge. The pair resurface, arms locked. The tribe pulls them back, drenched and shaking. No celebration, no relief. Only breath, only survival reclaimed for now. Birds appear. First one, then a flock. Circling, screeching. Droppings speckle the raft, ugly signs, yet they stir hope. The matriarch follows their path, her eyes drawn to the wind's direction. Birds do not sleep on water. Somewhere land, or at least something more than the featureless blue that has devoured their past. Then rain, blessed, furious rain. They tilt leaves into crude bowls, catching every drop. Children open their mouths to the sky, drinking with the desperation of the dying. Even the elder male, skin flaking and cracked, lifts his face, the rain washing salt from his lashes. They are not reborn. They are not saved. But for the first time in days, they are not dying. Night falls like a stone. The moon rises a pale scar in the sky. Somewhere beneath them, creatures move, silent giants brushing the underside of the raft. One of the females grips a branch sharpened by salt and age. Her body stiffens. Her gaze locks onto a shape in the water. It's vast and close. The sea swells again, this time with intent. A wave surges, snapping vines and tossing the raft like dry leaves. 2 bundles of fruit are lost to the dark. Another child nearly goes with them, caught by a trailing branch. The matriarch dives after her, teeth clenched, one hand, gripping bark, the other the child's wrist. For seconds that stretch into eternity, the ocean demands sacrifice. But she holds. They both rise, gasping, clinging to what remains of the raft. The tribe tightens together, not from fear, but from defiance. They do not know how far they've gone. They do not know where they will land. But the sea now is no longer their prison. It has become their trial, their test, their story. Dawn bleeds across the horizon in pale gold. The raft tattered, shrunken, lashed by salt, and time drifts towards something that shimmers differently. Not cloud, not water. A line, a shape, rising slowly from the sea like a promise whispered in the bones of the survivors. Land. The matriarch stares without blinking. Her eyes, hollow from days of watching waves, but in this moment, they harden with fire. She nudges the young male beside her and points not with authority, but with shared knowing. He nods. He does not smile. No one does. Joy has no place here. Only breath, only movement. The raft scrapes sand. The noise is foreign, like a whisper against stone. One by one, they disembark. Legs wobble. Feet sink into wet grains that give and hold all at once. Some collapse, kissing the ground with their chests. Others crawl forward. A mother lifts her child, places her on her shoulders, not in pride but in instinct. The child's eyes scan this new land wide and silent. There is no welcome, no flag, no feast. But there is land, and that is enough. Behind them, the sea retreats, indifferent to what it has taken and what it has spared. The wreckage of their raft floats back into the tide, leaving only tangled vines and palm-sized seeds scattered across the shore. They do not look back. Steps falter as they enter a forest denser than the one they left. The air smells different. Moist, floral, sharp. Insects hover and buzz. Branches sway with unfamiliar weight. But the rules are the same. Listen, scan, move slowly. Every crackle of twig, every bird call could mean predator or prey. Their bodies know before their minds ever will. The group pauses near a low outcrop of stone. The elder male, hand still trembling, breaks off a shard from a crumbled rock. He turns it in his fingers, sharpens it against a harder edge. Flakes fall. Sparks do not fly, but something inside him ignites. The matriarch watches, nods once. They do not speak. They do not need to. By afternoon, they find water a stream shallow but clean. They drink, bathe, rub their skin with sand. They clean wounds not with tenderness but with grit. The child rescued at sea now laughs a sharp, short sound that startles even herself. Another child echoes it. For a moment, there is lightness, not joy, but memory of it. As night descends again, they huddle against the stone face, the forest humming around them. No fire, no warmth, beyond flesh against flesh. But they are on land, new land, no others like them in sight. They are the first, the only. Their story now belongs to this place. And in 100,000 generations, their bones may sleep beneath vines. Their raft may be lost to time. But the journey, this impossible crossing, without tools, without maps, without knowledge, will echo in footprints, in instincts, in every human that ever wondered what lies across the water. Because once long ago they asked that question with their bodies and answered it by surviving.